Hey guys, Warp24 here from MondayMorningMTG.com, and today I have the Sorin versus Tibalt. It's about a week late because my local game store that I ordered it from didn't get them because their distributor was on vacation or something, so they got them a week late, but nevertheless, here it is. Of course, you can pick them up from your local Walmart, probably a Target, and any local game store that probably carries these, featuring Sorin, Lord of Innistrad from Dark Ascension, and Tibalt the Fiend Blooded from Avacyn Restored. They are both alternate art, and they're both in foil, so let's go ahead and just open this up and hope it's not spring-loaded like the last one I had. This Izzet Golgari was a bit disastrous because I opened it up and everything flies everywhere. There we go. And the other one. Flap on the other side. There we go. Alright. Let's try and make sure this doesn't happen again with the spring-loadedness. All that paper powder and dust and everything. Okay. Doing this very carefully. Alright. So, nice foil box as well. Let's put that aside. We have the Sorin and the Tibalt boxes. Hunt and Feed is Sorin's box, and Torment and Agonize is Tibalt's box. Of course, Sorin is the blue color, and Tibalt is the red and yellow color. I'm just going to go ahead and seal these up here, just so I have them. I think this will be pretty cool. Probably use a little bit of this for a Kalia of the Vast EDH Commander deck, given the fact that you got red and black here and white and black, and I believe it's like demons, and maybe it wouldn't work. You just have some of the lands and instants and sorceries, perhaps. Alright, so we have the Sorin versus Tibalt how to play paper thing, and it's about Sorin and about Tibalt, and has some of the art of the cards and stuff. It has some of the art here, and talks about the whole thing, the game rules. Just very big thing here. I'm not going to go through what set some of these cards are from. The oldest thing you'll probably run into is like Sengir Vampire, which was originally printed in Alpha, but showed up in M12. So you get another one of those. There's like a couple from Torment. Tainted Field is from Torment, which that's in Tibalt. That's in Sorin's deck, excuse me. And I mean, not much stuff that hasn't been printed recently in the past couple of years. But there's a little bit of stuff that has not been printed since its original printing over 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, I believe, was 2003 when Mirrodin first came out. So some things are new to the modern frame. Some things you have different art of. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull the decks off here. So, and I'll put Tibalt with his, and Sorin with his. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go over Sorin's deck first, because, well, Sorin, of all the Planeswalkers, I believe, is one of my favorites. And let's see here. Let me see if I can focus this here. I'm not even looking at the camera at the moment. Okay. Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. He's 1 white, 1 black, 2 colorless for the loyalty counter of 3. And if you do +1, he puts a 1/1 black vampire creature token with lifelink onto the battlefield. -2, you get an emblem with creatures you control, get +1/+0. And then -6, you destroy up to 3 target creatures and or other planeswalkers. Return each card put into a graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. So that's pretty nice. Of course, most people would only be able to do the first 2 abilities. It's really hard to get to the last one. And we'll get to Tibalt in a moment. First, we're going to go ahead and open Sorin's deck. We have a little pull tab here, which actually, I don't know what happened. It It's either stuck to itself or I just bent it inside. All right, there we go. Pull the plastic off. Throw the plastic away. All right. So, starting out, we have a Doomed Traveler, which was originally from Innistrad, as I remember. And with it, when it dies, you just put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying on the battlefield. It's a 1/1 for a white. You get 2 of those. Vampire Lacerator, 1 black for 2/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life unless an opponent has 10 or less life. Not bad. 1 white, 1 colorless for 0 for Defender Wall. Wall of Omens, and when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So, not bad there. Child of Night, 1 black, 1 colorless for 2/1 with lifelink. It's Vampire. Dusk Hunter Bat, 1 black, 1 colorless for Bloodthirst 1, flying, and +1. It's a 1/1. And Bloodthirst 1 is if an opponent was dealt damage this turn, the creature enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter. So, if you dealt damage with an opponent, you'd put a +1/+1 counter on this on your second main phase if you play it in a turn. Alright, so we got 2 of those. Then we have Mesmeric Fiend, 1 black, 1 colorless, for a Nightmare Horror creature. It's 1/1. Enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand, and you choose a non-land card from it. You exile that card. When it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. Gatekeeper of Malakir, double black for 2/2. And it's got a kicker of 1 black where you can pay an additional black. And enters the battlefield. If it was kicked, target player sacrifices a creature. So not bad. Then we have Twilight Drover. 1 white, 2 colorless for a 1/1. Whenever a creature token leaves the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Twilight Drover. You can also pay 2 colorless and a white to remove a counter and put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens flying onto the battlefield. So, that's nice. Multiplying tokens. Or multiplying +1/+1 counters, which gives multiplying tokens. Alright, then we have Blood Rage Vampire. I believe this was originally in Zendikar. It's a black and 2 colorless for 3/1 with Bloodthirst 1, which is the +1/+1 counter if an opponent was dealt damage. Then we have Fiend Hunter, which was also from Innistrad. Double white and a colorless for a 1/3. And when it enters the battlefield, you may exile another target creature. And when it leaves the battlefield, you return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Of course. Then we have Vampire Nighthawk. One of my favorite cards. Double black and a colorless for 2/3 with Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. Mausoleum Guard. 3 colorless, a white for 2/2. When it dies, you put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So that's pretty good. Phantom General, which I think was actually in Return to Ravnica, if I remember correctly. Either that or M13. 1 white, 3 colors for 2/3 that creature tokens you control get +1/+1. So that's good. Vampire Outcasts. It's 2/2 with 2 black and 2 colorless. It's got Lifelink and Bloodthirst 2, so if an opponent was dealt damage this turn, you would put 2 +1/+1 counters on it when it enters the battlefield. Revenant Patriarch. 1 black, 4 colorless for 4/3. When it enters the battlefield, if a white was spent to cast it, then target player skips his or her next combat phase. But this creature can't block, it can only attack. Alright, then we have Sengir Vampire. Sengir Vampire, I believe that's the pronunciation. For double black and 3 colorless. For 4/4 with flying. And when a creature dealt damage by it this turn dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Alright, Butcher of Malakir. Double black and 5 for 5/4. It's got flying, and when another creature or it that you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So pretty good. Vampire Bite. We're moving on to the instants now from the creatures. 1 black, and you have a kicker of 2 colorless and a black. And target creature gets +3/+0 until end of turn. If it was kicked, then the creature gains lifelink until end of turn, which is pretty nice there. Decompose. 1 black and the colorless to exile up to 3 target cards from a single graveyard. Then Sorin's Thirst, which if you got Sorin, you gotta have Sorin's Thirst in it. Double black, and it deals 2 damage to target creature, and you gain 2 life. Urge to Feed, double black, and target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. You may tap any number of untapped vampires you control. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those vampires. So that's pretty nice too. You can kill a creature and pump your vampires. Zealous Persecution, 1 white and 1 black. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1, and creatures your opponents control get -1/-1. Then we have Lingering Souls. Of course, I really like the art of this. This is the F&M promo art, which is the first time the art has been printed without the F&M foil aspect of it. So this is the alternate art. 1 white and 2 colorless for the put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield, with flashback of 1 black and a colorless. So flashback is definitely cheaper, but hey, it's pretty awesome. Anyway, you look at that. Alright, now we have Mortify. 1 black, 1 white, and a colorless to destroy target creature or enchantment. Spectral Procession. Put 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So you can either pay 3 white, or you can pay 6 colorless, or some combination of it, where 1 white equals 2 colorless in this aspect. So if all you have is black mana, then you're probably going to be paying 6. Otherwise, you can pay 3 white. But you get 3 1/1 white spirit creature tokens. So it doesn't have flashback, but it's better in some senses than Lingering Souls, because you get more right away if you can pay the less mana. And you get 2 of those. That's really nice. I like those. Then we have Unmake, where you can pay any combination of 3 black or white. So 1 white, 2 black, 2 white, 1 black, 3 black, 3 white, whatever. Exile target creature. Unmake, just one of them. Then we have Ancient Craving. 1 black and 3 colorless. You draw 3 cards and you lose 3 life. Not bad if you're doing a lot of life linking. Mark of the Vampire. 1 black and 3 colorless. Where you can enchant a creature, and enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has lifelink. That's pretty sweet, of course. It goes in M12, maybe M13 as well. Field of Souls. Double white and 2 colorless. Whenever a non-token creature is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token flying onto the battlefield. Okay, not bad there. Absorb V, or Viz. Absorb Viz, Absorb V. Something like that. 1 black and 6 colorless. Target player loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. For the cost, that's, I guess, not too bad, but it is a common, so it's going to be hard to cast, but you also have basic land cycling off of it. You can pay a black and a colorless to discard this card, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Death Grasp. 1 black, 1 white, and X, where it deals X damage to target creature or player, and you gain X life. Alright, moving on to the land now, because I believe this is all the land. Oh, and we have tokens. Well, 1 token, the other one, I guess, is in the back of Tibalt's deck, so they can make everything even in this for packaging purposes. We have Evolving Wilds. You just tap, sacrifice it, search your library for a basic land card, comes into play tapped, shuffle your library. We get 2 of those. We get Tainted Field, which I really like. So, essentially you add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool when you tap it, or you can add a white or black to your mana pool, but you can only activate that ability if you already control a swamp. So this is a pretty nice one. So we have 2 of those. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Swamp, I think I miscounted that though. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, I didn't. Okay, we've got 12 swamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plains. So the plains would be a little harder to come by, but we have the Evolving Wilds to help that out. We have that 1 spirit there. So I'm going to go ahead and put Sorin's deck and Sorin into his deck box, just for packaging purposes, and then we'll get to Tibalt. Because Tibalt needs a little bit of love too for being the cheapest planeswalker ever. And people say he doesn't really have a purpose. I want to accept the challenge of trying to find a purpose for him, but you know, it's going to be a little hard to do, given the fact that I don't know of anything that I could do with him, because all I'm doing is drawing and discarding cards, so, with him. Okay. Now that that's in there, because that stupid little bottom section. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to drop a token in the back. It's a neat little art of a spirit. Nope. Sorin's emblem isn't in here, so you could probably get it from a pack in Dark Ascension, or maybe not. I have, I think, like 3 emblems now, which I got a couple just to make sure I had it with that. Alright, so we're going to start off with Tibalt here. Tibalt the Fiend-Blooded. He just casts for double red. And he has 2 loyalty. +1, draw a card and then discard a card at random, so it could be the card that you just drew, which is not really the best. -4, he deals damage equal to the number of cards in target player's hand to that player. Okay. Then -6, gain control of all creatures until end of turn. Untap them and they gain haste until end of turn. So, I mean, a bit of Zealous Conscripts right there, but more overbearing and taking everything, but it's going to be so hard to get there. It's going to take you 5 turns to get there once you play him. So 4 to up him, and if he doesn't get hit, then the 5th turn you're going to have to sack him unless you want to keep him around a little bit longer. So it's hard enough just to activate his second ability. All I can do is the first ability for the first couple of turns. So Tibalt is really not the best. He sells for like $2 or $3. I believe this one's 2 and the regular one's 3. And this is alternate art foil, so what does that tell you? Okay. We'll just go ahead and unwrap the Tibalt deck. But the Tibalt deck is pretty sweet from what I've seen online about it. I mean, you do a whole lot of like, I'm going to beat you for like 5 damage, or you can either discard the card you just drew for 5 and all this other awesome stuff. So it could really go either way. Planeswalker doesn't actually make it, it's the rest of the cards. Planeswalker just is there to help and for, I guess, moral support in a way. Alright, so we have Goblin Arsonist as the first card. 1 red for a 1/1, and when it dies, you may have it deal 1 damage to target creature or player. Scorched Rusalka. It's 1 red for a 1/1, and if you pay 1 red and sacrifice a creature, it deals 1 damage to target player. Then we have Reassembling Skeleton. 1 black and a colorless for a 1/1, and if you pay 1 black and a colorless, you can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Alright, Ashmouth Hound. 1 red and a colorless for 2/1. When it becomes blocked or is blocked by a creature, it deals 1 damage to that creature. So, essentially like 1 damage on top of it plus the 2. You have 2 of those in the deck. We have Hellspark Elemental. 1 red and a colorless for 3/1. Trample and haste. At the beginning of your end step, you sacrifice him. Then you can unearth for 1 red and a colorless. Return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, exile at the beginning of the next end step, or if it would leave the battlefield or if it would leave the battlefield. So essentially, you can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield, but then you can exile it. So essentially, sort of has flashback and comes directly to the battlefield, sort of. So it's not too bad, and you get 2 of them in there. You can do some pretty nasty damage early on with that. Vithian Stinger, 1 red and 2 colorless for a 0/1, and you tap it, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. And you can unearth, of course, as well. But this doesn't have trample haste and dies at the end of the turn, regardless of what you do. So you can keep that around for a bit. Shambling Remains, 1 colorless, a black, and a red. It can't block, it's 4/3, and you can unearth. Coal Stoker. It's 3 colorless and a red. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, you can add 3 red to your mana pool. So it's a little bit of a rebate. It only costs 1 mana, of course. It's a 3/3. Lavaborn Muse. 3 colorless and a red for a 3/3, and at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if that player has 2 or fewer cards in hand, it deals 3 damage to him or her. Not bad. Alright, so then we have Mad Prophet. Haste, 2/2, tap it to discard a card, draw a card, and it costs 1 red and 3 colorless. Hell Rider, which is one of the major things about this box, is 2 red and 2 colorless for a 3/3. It's got haste, and whenever a creature you control attacks, it deals 1 damage to defending player. So if you have 3 creatures attacking, including Hell Rider, that's 3 damage. If you have 3 excluding Hell Rider, that's 3. And so, just for each creature that is attacking, it deals 1 damage to that player, or to the defending player. So that's really not that bad. It's pretty cool. I believe it's $10 right now, or roughly around that amount. 2 red and 2 colorless for 2/2, and you can pay a red to tap and sacrifice a creature. It deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Corpse Connoisseur. 4 colorless and a black for a 3/3. And when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card and put that card into your graveyard. If you do, shuffle your library. Then you can unearth this and return it to the battlefield to do the same thing. Alright, Scourge Devil. 4 colorless and a red. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. It's 3/3, and you get to have the unearth cost of 2 colorless and a red. Gang of Devils. 5 colorless and a red for 3/3, and when it dies, it deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and or players. Bump the Night, one of my favorite cards. Love this card. 1 black, target opponent loses 3 life. Of course, we have now moved into the sorcery area. Target opponent loses 3 life, and flashback cost of 5 colorless and a red. So it's good for late game, but it's great for early game. Hit him off the bat with just 1. Alright. Blazing Salvo. Deals 3 damage to target creature unless that creature's controller has Blazing Salvo. Deal 5 damage to him or her. So, gives a very interesting choice for a creature that is on the battlefield that's annoying. Faithless Looting. 1 red, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. You have the flashback cost of 2 colorless and a red. Flame Slash. 1 red and deals 4 damage to target creature. It's a sorcery though. Geist Flame. 1 red, and it deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and it's got a flashback cost of 3 colorless and a red. It's not the best. There's far better stuff. Pyroclasm. 1 red and a colorless for it to deal 2 damage to each creature. Not bad. Recoup. 1 red and 1 colorless. Target sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. Flashback cost is equal to the mana cost. 3 colorless and a red for flashback. Oh, yep, target sorcery card gets flashback until end of turn, and you can also flash this back. Okay. Terminate. 1 black and a red to destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. 1 black and 2 colorless for Strangling Soot. Destroy target creature with toughness 3 or less. And you get a flashback of 5 colorless and a red. Browbeat, which is new art with Tibalt's face on it. Tibalt's face coming out of a cloud and yelling at someone. 1 red and 2 colorless. Any player may have Browbeat deal 5 damage to him or her. If no one does, target player draws 3 cards. And you have 2 of those. That's pretty sweet. Alright, Breaking Point. 2 red and a white. Excuse me. 2 red and a colorless. I don't know what I'm thinking. Any player may have Breaking Point deal 6 damage to him or her. If no one does, destroy all creatures. Creatures destroyed this way can't be regenerated. That is pretty awesome, though it's rare, so go figure. Alright. Sulfuric Vortex. Double red and a colorless. And at the beginning of each player's upkeep, Sulfuric Vortex deals 2 damage to that player. Of course, this is an enchantment, so it's going to be on the field. If a player would If a player would gain life, that player gains no life instead. Blightning. 1 red, 1 black, and the colorless. Blightning deals 3 damage to target player. That player discards 2 cards. Flame Javelin. It costs either 3 red or 2 mana in place of any red there. So you could either pay 6 mana or 3 red. And it deals 4 damage to target creature or player. Okay. Torrent of Souls. Either red or black, and then 4 colorless. Return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield if black was spent to cast Torrent of Souls. Creatures target player controls gain +2/+0, and gain haste until end of turn if red was spent to cast Torrent of Souls. Do both if black and red was spent. So, that's pretty good. Devil's Play, of course, always nice. 1 red and X deals X damage to target creature or player, and it's flashback cost of 3 red and X. Now, of course, this is used in infinite mana loops that I hate so much, but I mean, if you're ever running an infinite mana loop deck, great card. Okay. Starting with lands, we have Akum Refuge from Zendikar. Enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Then you can tap it for black or red. You get 2 of those. Rakdos Carnarium, and it's from the original Ravnica block. It enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters the battlefield, return a land you control to its owner's hand. And you can tap this for black and red. So these are really awesome in like Commander and some other stuffs. Alright, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 reds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blacks. And the spirit token that's also supposed to go with Sorin's, because Sorin gets 2 spirit tokens for his deck. That was just sitting in the back just for their packaging purposes, so everything was all even and nice and whatnot. So I'm just going to drop those in Sorin's deck box, and I'm going to go ahead and put Tibalt away in his deck box. As you can see, some pretty aggressive decks there. Tibalt's all about burning people, but also has a way to deal with all the discard cards, and most of the cards in this deck, you can flash them back or unearth them, so it sort of counteracts the whole, I'm going to draw a card and discard a card at random. It doesn't really matter what at random, because most of your stuff you can get back to the battlefield anyway. But there you have it. That is the Sorin versus Tibalt dual deck. And this is definitely by far one of the better ones they have done. And with a lot of Magic products, they're getting better and better. Event decks are getting better and better, and from what I can see, dual decks are definitely getting better and better as well. So, until next time, enjoy.